This is a space of discovery. This is a space of remembrance. Join A.L. Garris and welcome to this space.
Navigating a new season of life. How does that one sound? Anybody walking into a new space, a new season, a new connection of yourself? Life spaces changing, relationships moving maybe, or maybe you want them to move. Maybe you think it's time for a new season. That could even be involved, right? So what does it mean? Like, I had a really cool conversation with somebody recently, actually my producer. She's here working with us on this project, so maybe she'll chime in here and there. But we were having a conversation about something that she was navigating in her own world, and it was her terminology of the new season that made me, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so rich. Can we please talk about this? But it was the way you said it that really got me, because it made me laugh, because you put a spin on it, which, one, I have to commend you right off the bat for being able to do so, because you were still kind of coming out of a space that, you didn't see coming. And that's what I loved how we're talking about a new season of life showing up, right? And so for a new season to show up, an old season has to end, right? There has to be an ending of an old space. And so you were navigating that. And at the same time, you made a joke and you were like something about
the season finale.
Yes.
The season finale, they got to get the viewers hooked so that they'll tune into the next season. So as you're ending one season, entering the other, there's going to be things that happen that shift what your reality was before it. And that might not be the most entertaining for you in the moment, but looking back, it was probably pretty entertaining if it was like a season of a show.
I loved that. I loved when you said that, because one, it gave, a little bit of space, right, for what you were processing. And it puts some perspective around it where you're not like, limiting yourself or belittling or ignoring that this dramatic season finale is happening, and it's you didn't see it coming, so it's not that it's easy for you to do, but at the same time you're not giving it all your power or something. You're not like giving yourself over to it to make it more than it needs to be. Like, you're reining that in, and you're like, okay, wait a minute. If this is what it is, right? If this is what it is, then I'm ready to do my best to navigate it in the best way I know how and move into the next season of me. Yeah. And I love the drama part, though, how that to me was like the joke, right? Because you said, what would a season finale be without the drama or something like that? Like, nobody would come. What did you say? Something like
the viewers won't tune into the next season if there's not any drama.
They have to have the cliffhanger.
There has to be the cliffhanger. There has to be the build-up, the emotional climax of the season.
Well, you sure wrote that one. Yeah, this is like an Academy Award-winning season finale. So we won't divulge a lot because your life is your life, but I really admire the way you're processing this, Aria, because it's a really big space. You didn't see it coming, and yet you are choosing. This is another part of that new season of life. I think the way you're choosing to navigate it and handle it is also kind of broadcasting out to source, to universe, to the system. We talk about that a lot here, right? So your choice on how you're navigating, on how you're handling, processing what you didn't see coming, okay, is broadcasting out a signature or a frequency, a vibration that is then saying what the new season gets to look like. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? Because you're here for everything we talk about. I know you've, heard all the spaces that we've discussed here. And I'm really grateful that Aria decided to come on mic today. I don't know that she will do this every time, but we can hope so. And you can comment below maybe if you're happy Aria came on mic. But it is really cool to hear someone else's perspective in alignment with what we're talking about here. And our age difference is pretty good as well. So that's kind of cool too, because I think it brings in multiple spaces of generation that could be relating to these types of topics. So your way of navigating, let's talk about this for just a second, because a lot of you out there who are hearing this right now, you could be navigating something you didn't see coming, like a space in a relationship that went in a different direction than what you thought it was going in, an event that you thought was going to look a certain way and now it's not happening that way, a career choice that you thought you might obtain and now it's not available, or you already have and now it's not there, and whatever. So when the change comes, the drama for the season finale, isn't that a neat way in itself to just start coining it, calling it?
In my mind, it also makes it less scary because it's like, it'll pass. It's this the season finale. Wait till the next season starts, Because as a new season starts, there's new characters, there's new plot lines. You have to wrap up the old ones to be able to begin the new ones. You can't have just a million plot lines all going on.
Isn't she amazing? No, she said this stuff earlier, and I pretty much begged her to come on mic because we were just having a general conversation before we started filming, and I'm grabbing my phone every third sentence coming out of her mouth, and I'm making notes because I'm like, this is such rich material. And so I was like, I'm grateful she came on mic because I thought talking about it today in an open format would really benefit a lot of people. So that's why we're bringing it here. So thank you for being open to do this. But so the new season means possibly, not all the time, but possibly new characters, and or the old characters have some character development. Have you ever watched a show where, you start, I love this when this happens. Anybody's ever seen The Bear? That's a really good example. I think it's on HBO. It's about a chef. I think takes place in Chicago maybe or something like that, or Philadelphia. I don't know. But anyways, it's a really cool understanding of character development because one character in the very beginning, there's actually a couple of them. The writers did well with it. There's a couple characters in the very beginning. I didn't like their character, they just seemed like you wanted more for them, or you could see them being able to be more. And then you get further into the season and they have this incredible character development and you love them. They become your favorite character. Interesting overlay if we allow it, because when the seasons are changing, seasons are shifting, characters in our lives and our own character have the opportunity to change and shift as well. And sometimes that means people reset to us and we both, the unit, the relationship goes to the next level, and it's just it's better than it ever was. And sometimes it can mean a rough spot. I mean, it could be a whole season episode or a whole season. Yeah. These words are so good. They work so well to overlay the understanding, right? As in an episode, I had an episode, I felt faint, right? So it's passing, right? It's quick. I had a season where I felt faint. That's so much longer, right? So sometimes the reset with another person that's close to us, because all relationships reset constantly. They either reset into alignment with one another, or they reset into a way where they're in two different settings. And that's usually when people drift apart to whatever degree, completely, see you once a year, happy birthday, Merry Christmas, that kind of thing. Or they reset totally back in alignment with each other, but at a new level. But this is really fascinating to have this type of talk where we can utilize or allow ourselves to envision from the standpoint of a television show, a season of a show, the characters of a show, moving through episode by episode in entire seasons with the possible potential character development, and also the way in which they navigate it all. Because how many times have you watched a show and you're maybe like, no, for God's sakes, don't do it again. Like, what are you thinking, right? Like, stop. Or like, yeah, I would do that. Like, you can really relate or, see into the space. So I think like that's interesting in itself as well, because that's like learning to be the observer more. See, we have no problem observing somebody else's drama.
Yeah, I know so many people that they're like, oh, I like looking at drama, but I don't want to be a part of it. I think it's much easier if you are going through something to step out of it and see it like you would an episode of a show, a season of a show.
Yeah, right.
A plot line you're watching.
Right.
A character you love going through it.
And what's even cooler about being able to do it with your own life as if you were watching a show is you're also the writer and the director and the producer.
You wish the show would go a different way. Guess what? You have the power to do that. Exactly. You have the power to make it go that way.
Exactly. Yeah. And if you want it to get picked up for another season, pick it up.
Yeah.
And if you think this thing needs to be nixed, then nix it. Go in and write a new one. Write an entirely new show and star in it. Okay, I love that. Wow, there's a lot here, right? All right, so let's get nitty gritty though, if you don't mind. Let's pick your brain a little teeny bit. You're so wise. So you had a space, didn't see it coming, and at first you got more hurt, right? Were you hurt or angry first?
Very beginning anger, but it really quickly switched to sadness, and it like just stayed as that, truly, because I couldn't be mad at the person because I understood them so intensely.
Right. They mean a lot to you. And so that played a big role as well. So this was big. You said to me, you realized very fast that you weren't mad at them. You were mad at the experience, which that's huge. Yeah. Like if we could do that more, that would be really, really helpful to all of us. That when something happens with another person or a group or whatever, that we're able to say, well, wait a minute. I don't think they intentionally, and we get that there are spaces where there's intentions and that's different. We're not talking about that type of abusive behavior, right? We're talking about non-intentional things change and nobody could, nobody saw it coming. They didn't purposefully cause it to go that way, but they're trying to figure out how to deal with it as well. And so we're talking about those type of situations. But I loved when you said that you realized that it wasn't something they wanted to have to deal with and that they had to come and tell you, look, this situation's different than what I thought it would be. And you weren't mad at them. You were mad at the experience. I just feel like that was so wise of you.
I think it's something that I need to learn and be aware of to use that in other parts of my life. Because that was one of the first times I really, really felt just mad at the situation and not mad at the individual at all. And I think I've had experiences where I haven't been able to detach the situation from the person, and I've made the circumstance that I'm upset with the person's fault even when it isn't. I think this was a lesson to teach me that. And that's why I felt inclined to talk about it, because I think it's a lesson that I think everyone needs to learn at some point. And maybe you've been taught this lesson, but you haven't really started applying it to your life fully.
That's a big one. That's a big one, because until it's implemented, until we apply it to the life fully, universe, source, the system has no idea that we're running that connection, that we've anchored it, that we've landed it, that we understood it, that we got the message, right? There's no way to register our awareness. So then what happens is the circumstance repeats itself. And we all know how wonderful it feels when when a circumstance repeats itself and you're just like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, why are we here again?
I also think we need to remind ourselves that yes, this is a season of our life. This is an episode of our life. Everyone else is going through seasons and episodes too. They're not just characters in your story. They have shows too that they're experiencing. Their life is their own show as well. And I think specifically for the circumstance I was in, it was a situation where two people were going through their season finales at the same time.
Wow, talk about powerful.
Yeah. That can make it feel so much more intense, I think.
I think that's connected to that reset. We've talked a lot about how all relationships reset. I was just speaking about that early on in this space. And when you've got two individuals that are both resetting at a season finale type level, we're just using that for a term, right? That means what we're saying would be that Aria and this other individual are both at points in their life where they're moving into the next space of themselves. So they're leveling up in a sense. Those aren't perfect words, but just kind of like let your mind play with it, right? And so when anybody is in a point where they're like leveling up or they're making that available to themselves, right, as an option, you're about to shift, you're about to quantum jump, you're about to anchor a brand new reality, like whatever words we want to use. Get a better job, see success like you've never seen it. When you're doing that, you're moving some massive amounts of energy. So like every single part of you is being scanned by the system, by source, by God, by universe. It's being kind of registered, right? That's how it works, right? It's all energetic resonance. So if you're like about to step into more success than you've ever been in before, more abundance than you've ever been in before, more happiness than you've ever been in before, about to heal your body, all of the above, one of these, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you're about to move that amount of energy in your life, the reflection, right? That means the insides have got to line up with that space you're moving into. So the experience comes in, designed by us. We talk about that all the time, right? Own that power. The experience comes in that you didn't see coming for that dramatic season finale that is perfectly written by you, directed by you, and performed by you, produced by you, to give you the opportunity to do that reset into that new level, to say and confirm vibrationally to the system that you're that level of success, that you're that level of happiness, whatever this is, right? And so if you have two people in the situation that are both in that type of alignment that's potentially coming in, right? You're talking about an amped up. But here's another thing I'm thinking about, Aria, as I'm having this thought. See what you think about this. Because this goes with what you just said. They have their show, you have your show. They have their season finale, you have your season finale. How fascinating to be such good writers and casting companies, or whatever words we want to use, to do this in such a way where it's you and that other person perfectly having that alignment of two season finales at the exact same time, so that the energy amp up is there. There's that much push. One thing I want to add, because I really want to hear what you have to say, is what do you think about this though as well? That means sometimes it feels really crappy because it's so big. But can you share with what you used? What did you find yourself going to that really helped you remember they're having a season, you're having a season? It's a shift in it. I don't have to be mad at them. I can be mad at the space. I can be upset with what's happening, but that doesn't mean I have to take it out on them. Like,
It is something that I think I've learned slowly over a long time. So someone that is trying to apply this that hasn't experienced it before, I don't know if I'd have the best words for a first time, right?
The first time's big.
The first time's
We can
incredibly
acknowledge
big.
that with them right now. It's big, and you can almost not see straight.
Yeah. I think the main thing that helped me was stepping away, letting myself feel without an attachment of why I'm feeling it. Just like, okay, what am I feeling right now? Sadness? Be sad. It's okay. Let it out. It doesn't have to be directed at anything or anyone. You can just feel an emotion. And sometimes you feel emotions and you don't know why you're feeling them. And I think that's important to be able to process it in that circumstance as well. And so I kind of just took a step back, felt it, really let myself work my way through all the emotions, process all the emotions. And then once I felt grounded enough again, I wasn't just in my head anymore, I was in my physical body again. I went, okay, and now what is the real reason for this feeling? Not what do I feel like the reason should be.
Yeah.
What is the real reason I'm feeling this? Oh, it's this thing. That's not the actual person's fault.
That is such availability. You had such availability with yourself. Do you register it that way, as if you were like really available to yourself to like listen to yourself and to like lean into the space instead of the space being so big you couldn't see straight?
Yeah. I have a really big, I guess, emphasis on, I try to make sure that I'm always there for myself. Because at the end of the day, I'm really the only one that is there 24/7.
That's it. This is who you go out with. This is who you come in with. This is who you go out with.
Yeah.
Be your person.
I want to be my own best friend. Yes. I want to be my own partner, right? And so I didn't have to disconnect the comforting side of me from the feeling side of me. But I did benefit from being able to just tell myself that I'm allowed to feel.
Good for you.
And then tell myself I'm allowed to look at the situation objectively rather than subjectively, right? Look at it through the lens of an outside perspective rather than just from the raw emotion I felt when it first happened.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. And it's so important. You are also able to allow yourself, I think, to see them more instead of the pain, which then you were able to be kind of aware and observant of their space of it. Because didn't you tell me you like put yourself into their shoes as well?
Because I think that was one of the reasons why I said like everyone has a season. I could see their season finale so clearly. I could see their perspective in it. I could see what they're personally going through outside of this thing. And I knew that this was out of their control, truly. And I, really felt for a moment what it might have felt like to be them in the situation. And maybe, first of all, feel empathy for them, so I'm not blaming them as intently, because it's not their fault. But also, it made me feel like I'm not alone in this sorrow. We're both mourning this. We're both upset. Even if it's because of different reasonings,
that's huge.
we are still both going through this together. It's like if you lost a loved one, at the same time someone loses their cat. It's different things, but you're both mourning. You're both experiencing a death. You both are experiencing not being able to see someone that was a part of your life. Even if they're different levels, there's still such intense emotions that you can't say, oh, well, you can't cry about that because I'm crying about this.
Yeah. Wow.
You're both allowed to cry.
Yeah. But how freeing that was for you, like how empowering that was for you, because when you held that type of understanding, you were being very selfless because you were allowing yourself to step into their shoes and feel through their point of view in a sense, best you can, of what you believe their point of view to be, right? And as you did that, you this is just my take on it, but as you did that, you like balanced the space more, because the other take would be, or the other choice would be, to not see the other person's side of it and to be totally stuck inside your own being so effed up. And what was done to me? What am I going to do? Why did it happen?
It's very easy to feed that, like, I'm feeling this, I'm hurting, I need comfort, without allowing the, are they hurting? Do they need comfort? I think the biggest thing is I chose what to be selfish about, because we can't just only be selfless, right?
Oh, absolutely.
For me, the selfish thing I chose to do was allow myself to be uncontactable for a little bit.
Okay.
If it was an emergency, I would respond.
Yeah.
If someone needed me, I would respond. It wasn't like I was giving the silent treatment. It wasn't anything like that. It was just, hey, I'm going to disconnect.
Yeah.
And I'm going to allow myself to do some things I love.
You were processing a lot. And you even had other things going on. I mean, like, not everybody doesn't know, like talk about a season finale. Like, when we're saying that Aria came up with the terminology of the dramatic season finale, like, this isn't even all that was happening in your life. Like, you were, it was one piece of many pieces, and they were all big. Like, all of the things that were in your script for your season finale were huge. I mean, we're not talking like little things. These are like once in a lifetime type big spaces.
And I think it was almost like I had been trying to be selfless fully for multiple days about multiple things. And then suddenly, all these things combined to teach me a lesson, to be like, hey, you need to balance this out a little bit. You're trying not to blame them, but you're resenting them, aren't you? And so I allowed myself to feel, I allowed myself to disconnect from it and just kind of be myself for like a day. I just let myself really like feel the emotions I was feeling. And then I was able to disconnect, and I was able to, or reconnect, and I was able to figure out, what am I actually mad at? What am I actually sad at? Why do I feel this way? Okay, cool. It's not their fault. And I didn't allow myself to respond from, it is their fault, even to begin with. I was very mindful of how I responded to the situation.
That's so
and I was
wise.
very, hey, I'm upset. I communicated, I'm upset, but it's not at you. It's at the situation. I just need time to process. I told them, I just need time to process. And then I took the time to process. And then I was able to come out of it and have such a better discussion. Because I think that there is a selfish aspect to needing to isolate, but there's also there's a line you can stay healthily within, I think, where, yes, it might be as much as like it was a selfless way to look at the situation, we're human, right? We have
You've got to process the human spaces. Yeah. You're having the human life. Yeah. But you did really bring in your whole, we talk about this a lot here as well, your wholeness, which is like some people call it a higher self. Some people call it like your divinity or your spiritual self, because you were having a very carnal or flesh or human experience. Yes. You were down in the ditch, getting in the dirt, right? And so then it was like, you didn't just say to yourself, this, sucks, this is tough, just it is what it is, and be all up in it. You said, in my humble opinion of reading I'm telling you what you said, so please feel free to tell us what you said. But I feel like you, from what you've said here today, you chose to, when you said you're your best friend, you talked to yourself, you listened, you allowed yourself to feel, you observed, you stepped back, you brought your wholeness in. When you try to make a life choice or navigate a life experience from the separated self, that's the term we use here, which is the you that thinks you're all alone, which is the you that tends to go to victim, why me, why me, why me. That is the space of us that does not let our wholeness in. It does not let our divinity in. It doesn't let our spiritual side in. And so it's trying to process. It's human. Absolutely. We're human, but it's trying to process from only the human, right? And the really incredibly exciting thing and inspiring thing and empowering thing about being human is we're also spirit. We're also eternal, right? We're also our wholeness. And so what I'm hearing come out your mouth and what I'm witnessing as I'm watching your life, because I do know you, we work together, I see what's going on in your world, is I'm watching your wholeness sustain in a sense you as you're allowing yourself to be whole. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Could you feel that in your being as you were processing and as you were moving through? Like some spaces may be less, some places may be more, but could you feel that sense? Because there's a difference. Like, this is what I'm getting at. There's a difference when we're in victimhood. And I've been in victimhood. I don't know if you've ever been there, but I've been there, where we're like saying, why me? It's them. It's not me. Everybody else has a problem. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Okay. And victimhood sucks. And victimhood feels like it. Right? But when we're able to shift and we're able to observe, we're able to be there for ourselves, we're able to listen to ourselves, we're able to lean in, we're able to be aware, right? We're able to come from that space of you that was able to see through their eyes, the other person's eyes, right? That does not feel as hard to do. That feels like more of our second nature. The other one for me feels like it's off. It doesn't work. It feels like something's broken. And then we claim we are. But the other one makes me feel like empowered and like uplifted and encouraged. Even if I'm still dealing with crap, I have some sense of like, I'm getting my breath back. Like I'm coming out of the drama space. And I know that that's my wholeness, right? Being allowed by me as my human to be present. Could you register the difference in those spaces? Like as it was hitting and you were choosing more wholeness, could you feel yourself coming out?
I think I felt it more after than anything.
Okay.
And it almost felt like, wow, I let that guide me throughout without even knowing it.
I love that.
It felt like a co-pilot was helping me pilot the situation. And that was probably my higher self, you know,
you're gonna
helping
make
me pilot the situation. And it almost felt like I was drowning during it. And then the moment I came up for a breath of fresh air, they were like, you did so good. And it was more of a reflective than in the moment, because I was feeling so much in the moment. It was drowning out everything. That's why I say I almost felt like I was underwater. And then after, though, when I was able to breathe, which is just recently that happened, you know, I then was able to notice, oh, wow, we handled that well.
I love your terminology that we handled that well. And I love your terminology of feeling like, what were your words? You said something like you didn't realize that you were
being assisted in, I didn't realize I had a co-pilot until after.
You felt like you had a co-pilot. Yeah, that was the part. You felt like you had a co-pilot. And so that's like another really huge space of this, because when we're talking about the separated self and the victimhood, you feel alone. You don't feel like anybody's assisting you.
Yeah. And I had moments where I was like, very giving into that mindset, right? But I've had so much time to learn to know that that's not how life really is, and know that that's not the truth.
So in that in that knowing moment, to me, that is when we open ourselves up to the co-pilot, the spiritual connection point of us that is connected into our I am, our divine, our spirit, our eternalness, so that co-pilot mechanism can kick in. Does that make sense? It's almost like it's never going to, we're not forced to allow ourselves to have a co-pilot or to have our wholeness show up. It has to be the option we choose. Does that make sense?
Yeah. And
like you chose it?
In the analogy, I'm the pilot. They're just the co-pilot.
And
I have to land the plane still.
Exactly.
But they can help me.
Exactly.
Right?
And who's the they though? Like there could be a lot of terminology for this. We gotta go in a few minutes, so we won't go way down this road. But like think about it for just a second. And if you guys like this, comment below, give us a thumbs up, subscribe if you don't already, and we'll come back and we'll revisit. We'll go deeper. But let's leave a little something on the table, like they do, so the viewers come back for the next step. I'm sorry, I just got to play with the words. But so you say you're the pilot, I'm the pilot, you're the pilot of your ship, right? But there's a co-pilot option. Mm-hmm. That's an important word to hear in the sentence. Option. Because everybody's got a co-pilot option. Everybody. Even the person who feels like right now they are all alone. They do have that option. But it's okay, because whatever you're in right now, it is giving you more like a signal or something, or like opportunity, so that you can choose the option. And once you choose it, it almost starts to become more default, which is I think what you were talking about when you said you didn't even realize.
It was so integrated with my own internal dialogue that it was like I'd go between the really sad thought and then I'd go between the higher self talking to me. And so it didn't feel like a moment that switched. It was like, because I didn't even realize that was helping me as much as it was until after.
Yeah. See, and I believe that's because too, you've spent a lot of your life allowing yourself to be open to expand the way you view yourself, the way you view the world around you, and the way you understand life in general.
I have now I don't know anything about planes, but we're going with the plane analogy here. It's like you're talking to the people that help planes land.
Oh, do you know with the little sticks?
Yes.
Yeah, yes. And they do this. Yeah.
And you don't know what the motions mean.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, I love that.
Your higher self's been trying to communicate to you this entire time. They're trying to help you land the
you're
plane.
Just like,
but you can't hear them because you're in the space too intensely in that moment to hear them.
The focus,
what the language is.
Yeah, and maybe that the learning comes, like you said, too, to some degree. Like, like first you said you're too focused on the what's pissing you off, what's hurting you, what's not the way you want it to be. And when you're too focused on what's not the way you want it to be, this learning, what? Yeah, right? The motions of the landing team cannot be registered because your focus is so placed upon this other space, this drama, this situation, this experience you're having, that there's not enough focus available to even register and start to figure out what the landing team is offering.
You have tunnel vision in that moment, right? You're focusing on what you're feeding, which in that moment would be your emotion.
And what happens where you place your focus? What happens?
That expands.
Exactly.
Right?
So then you end up with more of the crap you don't want because you're getting all up in it, giving it all your focus. Yeah.
Sometimes you have moments too. Like anyone has moments that, or at least I have. I shouldn't say that everyone has these, but maybe this isn't a thing that's universal. Sometimes I've had moments where I ask myself in these moments that are hard to navigate, what do I do? Mm-hmm. What do I do? I'm asking the question. I need to allow myself to answer.
Thank you. We talked about this in another episode, and we talked about listening to yourself and talking to yourself, because a lot of people think if I talk to myself, they're going to lock me up. They'll think I'm crazy. Pretend you got AirPods in and you're having a phone conversation with your mother. I don't care. But talk to yourself, right? And even if it's like in quiet in your bedroom or you're thinking the conversation, that's totally normal. Like, you don't even have to speak it out loud, but you just say to yourself, like, why did I create this? Like, why am I in this space? Like, why am I angry that it didn't go the way I wanted it to go? Why am I angry at so-and-so? Is it really even in their hands, or is this like out of their hands? Yeah. So, all right. But that whole space of like that default setting coming on for you more and more and more, I think is going to be really helpful to a lot of people to be available to that default setting, so that as a season finale can show up, right? And as that grand season finale cliffhanger, we used to call them that when I was a kid. It was always this horrible cliffhanger. And you're like, I have to wait like months before, or
because the turn comes from them hanging off a cliff in the final episode.
How many times I watched a soap opera and the guy was literally hanging off of the cliff, right? And I would be like, is he gonna live?
And the cliffhangers, are you gonna crash the plane? Are you gonna crash the plane? Are you gonna listen to your co-pilot and land?
I love it. So just like take into consideration everything we talked about here today, and hopefully it brings a little bit of insight. It brings a little of encouragement, to just allow you to have a different perspective, a new perspective, an additional perspective, whatever works for you, Nobody can say what that is but you, because this is your specific season finale, and this is your specific new season. That's another really good part of this. Think about that as well. As you contemplate what you're dealing with, that may be considered as a loss or a change or a shift that you didn't see coming, maybe just 2 seconds of thought could go to, but what does that mean in the positive perspective? Or like the new space, the new season could be exactly what you've been walking yourself towards this whole time. This finale you're experiencing is how you get there, to that new point, to that new success, to that new alignment of the happiness that you've been designing all along. So just a little idea there of trust that we could bring in as well. Okay. Aria, thank you for doing this. Thank you for coming on and talking. This has been really great. And if you guys have any comments, questions, or feedback, please just leave them below. We would love to have you chime in, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.